This gentleman is a very unique man. It's, I think I could say in the world of chips, certainly, but in the world pretty much of business, nobody's done what he's done. For those of you that are into that world, you would say, wow, he's a legend, but he is a legend, and it's an honor to be with you. Very great honor. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much. The most powerful AI chips in the world will be made right here in America, and it'll be a big percentage of the chips made by his company, but as you know, they're based mostly in Taiwan, and they're far and away the biggest. There's nobody even close. This $100 billion in new investment will go into building 5 cutting-edge fabrication facilities in the great state that we just discussed, Arizona, and will create thousands of jobs, many thousands of jobs, and high-paying jobs. In total, today's announcement brings Taiwan semiconductor investments to about $165 billion. They've started already. Among the largest new foreign direct investments in the United States, Apple, as you know, made a big announcement last week of $500 billion, and we have some others that have announced. We have many that want to announce, but I don't have time to do all of these announcements, I tell you. But for you, I'm doing the announcement.
Thank you.
This will create hundreds of billions of dollars in economic activity and boost America's dominance in artificial intelligence and beyond. Semiconductors are the backbone of the 21st century economy, and really, without the semiconductors, there is no economy. Without the semiconductors, there is no economy. We must be able to build the chips and semiconductors that we need right here in American factories with American skill and American labor. And that's exactly what we're doing. As you know, Taiwan pretty much has a monopoly on that market. And I think pretty much is not a term that's even appropriate. They do have a monopoly. And this is a tremendous move by the most powerful company in the world. It's a matter of economic security. It's also a matter of national security for us. And at the same time, Mr. Wei will be able to diversify and have his a tremendous presence in another place, and a very safe place. And I want to thank Taiwan Semiconductor for doing the announcement.
The mood is somber here in Washington, D.C., as global financial leaders gather under the darkening economic skies. The International Monetary Fund and World Bank spring meetings have kicked off, not with a bang, but with the groan of a world economy under pressure. Here's the global dilemma laid bare in D.C. Economic fragmentation is the new normal, and the race is on, not just for growth, but for resilience, relevance, and reinvention. From Lagos to London, Nairobi to New Delhi, Brasilia to Beijing, Cairo to Jakarta, the stakes are high, and the margin for error razor thin. From the IMF World Bank spring meetings in Washington, Nkechi Nana, Arise News.
This piece of technology is so important for modern economy. Only a handful of companies mastered the manufacturing process, semiconductor chips. Why is it so strategically important for countries? Semiconductors are essential to almost all sectors of the economy, including aerospace, automobiles, communications, clean energy, information technology. It is often considered as the brain of everyday modern electronics. Only a few companies like Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, Intel, and Qualcomm have the capability to produce advanced chips. Whoever controls the supply chain and technology controls the computational power of countries or companies. These advanced chips are also used in military hardwares.
Every single one of these devices has a chip inside that has the ARM CPU, and that ARM CPU is the brain of that device.
There's a company nearly every
war with soldiers, at least not yet. This is a war that's being fought in government offices and company boardrooms. It's a war that's being fought with rules and regulations, and it's meant to stop rivals from getting their hands on the most important technology in the world, microchips. You might hear them called semiconductors, microchips, or integrated circuits. These are all the same thing. We're just gonna call them chips, microchips, tiny pieces of metal that are magic and that run our world. This is a big thing that's happening in geopolitics right now. And I want to help you understand the stakes of this new conflict between the US and China. It's going to be the center of global attention for years to come. And what we're seeing right now is how boring trade regulations and business rules can escalate to something that can impact your everyday life, because your life depends on chips, whether you know it or not. In fact, let me show you. Everything has silicon in it. Anything that has any technological smartness to it is a product of silicon. Sorry, Tom. Oh, and it's not just like the usual suspects techie things. Yep, microchip. My refrigerator, silicon. My microwave, silicon. Nah, I'm just playing with you. This doesn't have silicon in it. This is just a few little things I found around the office, but like silicon is in your refrigerator, your microwave, like it is in your digital clock. It is what makes our world go round. I mean, we are speaking through silicon right now. Like you are watching this on the internet that is made possible because of silicon on a screen that is being fired by a silicon chip. Like everything is silicon in our world, besides like the forest or something, or like, you know, analog cameras. So microchips make our economy possible, but it's not just tech. It's not just like consumer tech. It's also military. The military needs microchips. They need microchips for weapon systems. They need microchips for intelligence. They need microchips for AI. They need microchips to stay ahead of their rivals. Microchip.
This, instead of carrying your wallet in your back pocket or your purse, a tech company wants you to keep it under your skin.
All right, so let's explain here. Walletmore is selling microchips implanted in your hand as an alternate payment. Could this be the future? Maybe. Once you set up your card info in the company's app, look at this, it says payments could be as easy as swiping your hand over a card reader. Right now, chips are not sold in the US. Crazy.
I think payment is the next frontier. I am on the waiting list for a payment chip. However, I don't think it's for everyone. When you first see it, or when I point it out to people, and you can see my chip right there, it is a little bit, ooh. But it is a little weird. But I do think that a lot of people will see use of it for access control, will see use of it for keeping some of their personal details. I know for sure I would eventually get a chip with my private key in it for my crypto wallet, and that can carry a lot more information with it. So I could do maybe ID verification with it, and I could maybe allow some payments. It's something that you carry that you don't have to carry. It is in you. There's ways to leverage that technology for good.
Cyber warfare. The invisible battlefield. Before an enemy even realizes they are under attack, the U.S. Cyber Command can dismantle their defenses. Critical infrastructure, communication networks, power grids, crippled in an instant. Cyber warfare is the new front line, and America is leading the charge. In modern warfare, a nation that controls the digital space controls the battlefield. The U.S. has developed advanced cyber weapons capable of disabling enemy missile systems, shutting down command centers, and even launching counterstrikes without a single soldier crossing enemy lines.
U.S. and China are secretly fighting a war. It's not the type of war that involves bombs and bullets, but it's a war nonetheless. It's a war over digital currencies. You see, China has been working on a digital currency for years. They want to replace the yuan with a digital version that could be controlled by the government. The US dollar is the world's most dominant currency, but China's digital currency could threaten that dominance. So the US has been taking action to stop China. They've imposed sanctions on companies that help China develop their digital currency. And they've also been spreading propaganda to warn other countries about the dangers of digital currencies. But China is not giving up. They're working on ways to make their digital currency more appealing to other countries. And so far, it's working. Many countries are still using cash, but as more and more countries adopt digital currencies, the power will shift to China. The US knows this, and they're terrified. That's why they're doing everything they can to stop China's digital currency. But China's currency is not going away. In fact, it's only becoming more popular. The US is losing the war on digital currencies.
That North Korea may be using China's digital yuan currency to evade sanctions and purchase weapons material.
We're in a tight spot. Our major means to contain and deter the North Koreans has been financial sanctions, and now that's imperiled by the fact that North Korea is accessing the digital yuan.
We can't let stand the Chinese using this currency issue as a way of making inroads into what has traditionally been a strength of ours.
While we may try to shore up our financial dominance, we may also well be moving into a world where we are not financially dominant.
We need a strategy to, one, modernize our SWIFT system, but we need to develop and present options to the president for a U.S. equivalent of a digital currency, either a private-public partnership, or if the Treasury is able to do it with the Fed, something that would be a public-only.
Let me go right here. I asked AI about Warren Buffett investment in semiconductors because I did a video on that maybe 6 months ago. And it says, yes, Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway, initially invested in Taiwan semiconductor manufacturer company. So I think it says, and a major chip maker. So the reason why I want to go into this because, you know, a lot of people call us conspiracy theorists, and they say it's a lie about Revelation 13 and so forth and so on. So I got to speak, you know, I'm going to say it in a way that you understand and it makes sense, you know, when you read Revelation 13, that at the end of the day, you know, these things must come to pass. And this is something else I Googled, right? It says semiconductor chips will be used or are used in and around the human body in various ways. Now it'll say medical devices as well. But we understand, you know what I'm saying? We understand. And this country has invested $100 billion into this technology. And then Trump says this is what's going to run the economy in the new age. Now, there's always a back door, so to speak, on how they promote this so everybody don't see the bigger picture, you know, but we in the know see the big picture. You know, you can't get around that. We in the know see the big picture. You know, you can't get around that. Now, when we read Revelation 13, and it says no man might buy, sell, or save unless he have this thing in his right hand or forehead. Now, all you got to do is look at Elon Musk. All you got to do is look at various videos on how this will unite, you know, biology, let me say that, with this technology. It makes sense. I mean, in your car you have a bunch of semiconductor chips, right? I mean, they're all around us, right? And it's the new wave of the future. They're in cell phones. So they slowly, it's called gradualism, they slowly started introducing these things to your video games, to your cell phones. And I think when the cell phones came out, it really blew up, right? They were much bigger in the older days, but now they're semi because they're pretty small, you know. So because of the video, I'm not going to make a long video out of it, but clearly this is, we see this, what is that video that they had when they was actually doing it? I think in Sweden. You can look that up. Here's another interesting fact from AI. It says the micro implodes, I'll say it that way, are most frequently inserted in the dorsal web space between the first and second metacarpal, which is in the space between the thumb and the index finger on the back of the hand. However, they can also be placed in other areas like upper arms, shoulder blades. Other locations, let's see what they say here. It says the phalanx of each finger. Let me see what it says here. Oh, here we go, in Sweden. Yep. And I believe they're trying to carry this over to, I'm not sure, but right over to different parts of the Eastern world. Well, you know it's there, you know. Most frequent and MOTB is dorsal web between the metacarpal finger. So, I mean, there's several videos on this, and it makes sense. They got $100 billion to make mass consumption of these things.